Hello everybody, this is a Lighthouse Hall of Fame film European server. It's WinnieANKA in his M5A1 Stuart. We're in Malinovka, standard mode west spawn, and that means passive spotting. So get ready for an exciting match. Grab a pillow, grab some Sominex. No, you won't need Sominex. You may go to sleep just watching it. However, it's a great demonstration of passive spotting. One of the keys to successful scouting is to learn how to effectively passive spot. That includes when to fire, when not to fire, and how to be patient and let your team do the work for you. In this battle, there's 2 artillery apiece, 1 scout in the enemy team, 2 on his. A lot of heavies and TDs. The enemy team has 2 mediums. His team has none. They're all heavies and TDs. So if they use the spots well, a couple of them go to the hill and come around, has the potential to be a blowout. He's already told his team he's going to spot early and indicated on the map where it's most likely that he's going to see tanks, so hopefully some of them set up and get ready to fire. Now he's going to go to a slightly different bush. I recorded this last night and was tired and started babbling, so I'm redoing it now so I know what happens in the battle. He goes to this middle bush right here, which is big enough to hide this little M5A1. Doesn't have quite the risks of pulling forward, and he still gets to see almost exactly the same amount of view area. So here he is. And this is what he's going to do for a while. So settle in and watch his tanks slowly take damage and disappear. And notice, he doesn't get a whole lot of spots right away. He only got 1 and now he has 2. That's fine. You gotta wait for these people to move sometimes. Once they try to go up to the hill, once they start trying to spot from up here, then you slowly see more and more spots. You don't really want to see a whole bunch at once. Seeing 1 or 2 is fine. Encourages focus fire. If you only see 1 or 2, then chances are some of your heavies will say, okay, I'm going to go to the hill, there's nothing here, which is also good. Now in this case, they don't have anybody going to the hill. The OI experimental is kind of halfway there. And it looks like he's turning to the right going, wait a second, maybe I can get some damage down here. So they have 2 tank lead already. There he takes the shot and gets a hit. He basically is far enough away. Remember, this is a fairly low tier fight and it's against heavies and TDs. They don't have good view ranges. So he's going to be able to get away with shooting a little bit here. Now if there was somebody up in the bush here, maybe not. But there's nobody there. This is what I said. You just wait for them to get bored. They start moving out, and then all of a sudden they're spotted, and they die. If he would have gotten impatient and moved forward, he's the one that could be dead, and he wouldn't end up with a game like this. It's up to a 4-0 lead. It's going to get bigger. When you have a great location going for views and spots, and you know the enemy's back there, you just have to wait for him to move. Wait, he's going to move up to the next bush. See if he can peer a little deeper, or maybe pick up a spot that he hadn't seen before. What you really want by now is to have at least 3 or 4 heavies coming up here. They would have been up here by now and starting to come down, and that would have caused people to react to them. Then then WinnieANKA would have seen them moving this way, and the game would have gone a little faster. But hey, 5-0. He's going to move up more now. He's trying to get some more spots. They've already told him that they're camping base. He gets this little twig that he's hiding behind here. I don't know how well it's hiding him because he didn't spin the camera around, but it's certainly the M5A1 can fit into bushes that a lot of other tanks can't because it's so tiny. It's slightly bigger than a postage stamp and it's easier to lick. Oh, he took a hit. Now he has to run. Tank doesn't run real fast though. Enemy teams already predicted a 15-0 blowout. The trouble is when the Matilda shot at him, he exposed himself and now he's dead. That should be a lesson to you all. Never expose yourself in public. Six to nothing. So now with the Matilda out of the way, he's going to try again. Let me see if I can get a little closer and find some more people. Now he's going to wait for his binoculars to turn on. If you have binoculars, when you stop, wait long enough for them to turn on. Give yourself a chance to see. And hey, look, there goes a TD. Don't know if anybody's going to be able to shoot him. Maybe the Artie can peg him.
Enemy armor is hit.
Still 6-0. There's another tank. The Martyr 38T gone. 7-0. The score mounts. And so what started off as passive spotting and just sitting in a bush and watching has now turned into passive spotting where he's actually moving. He's bush hopping forward trying to find more tanks. But the key there is when you think passive, you think not moving. A lot of times passive spotting is a series of hops from bush to bush. Wait for your binoculars to kick on, wait for people to move and they're all clear, or you think it's all clear, then you move to the next bush in the series. And you're slowly advancing up the field, taking out tanks as you go. I think the most he's ever had lit up at one time maybe is 2. I know he's had 2. I don't know if he's had 3 or not. 1 or 2 tanks lit up at a time is awesome because everybody shoots at them and they die fast, which is exactly what you want. There goes the Artie to the north. He may not get spotting credit for this because other tanks can see it, I think. And there goes the TD to the north. 9-0. 10-0. I feel sorry for anybody who dies on his team. They're all going to be yelling at him. He's actually now, he's behind and a little bit beside and behind the enemy's front lines, shooting at them, and they still don't know where he's at.
Armor is damaged. We didn't even scratch them. Enemy is hit. That one bounced.
And he gets a kill.
Destroyed.
It's 12-0. Can they do it? 15-0. Is it possible? Uh-oh. TD coming in on 2 tanks over there. Hellcat maybe risking it all. There's the Artie off to the left. He's going to go for that. See if he can get another kill. No, too slow. It wasn't really his fault. He did it as fast as he could. He just didn't do it on time. 15-0. There you go. The perfect game. All because of a little M5A1 Stuart who was willing to go forward into a bush and then bush hop forward and passive spot the right way. He ends up 523 damage and 1 kill. 10 of 18 shooting, that's 56%. And he got 4,510 spotting damage. got 13 spots, 23,493 credits in the bank. He earned 2,120 XP, survived the fight, got scout and patrol duty medals, as well as spotter and fire for effect mini medals, and that gives him a battle score of 2,180. Second place on the M5A1 Stuart list. And he owns first place as well. And he's going to, as you'll see in a couple more battles, he's going to boost the first place score up a little bit. So that one's going to be more shooting than passive spotting. This is just classic passive spotting. Move forward to the bush. You have a choice of 3 different bushes over here, depending on the size of your tank and how aggressive you want to be, what you think the enemy scouts are going to do. He picked the middle one because he has a tiny little tank and it can fit inside of little bushes, and just sat there and waited. Ended up, I don't know, what, 4-0, 5-0, maybe 6-0 before he moved forward. He got one time, he got spotted, he reversed direction. The tank, in shooting him, exposed itself and died, the Matilda. And so he just waited a little bit, make sure he has concealment back, and then he goes right back to where he was. Only one tank had spotted him, only one tank shot at him. Hey, I can go back. There's nobody else there. And he just continued to go bush to bush, making sure he stayed at each one long enough for his binoculars to kick in, gave it a little time to see if anybody was moving, and then he would advance further. And so the result of doing it like that, as opposed to, you'll see less experienced scouts, once they start moving forward, they just go for broke, man. They're going to the back lines. They never stop. They don't bush hop. And so they end up either seeing a whole bunch of tanks at once, and their teammates can't kill the tanks they see faster than the enemy kills them, and they die. And then they lose all the spots, and now it's a game again. But the way he did it makes sense. You go to the bush. If you light up 1 or 2 tanks, fine. You have 14 people behind you all trying to get the kill on those 2 tanks, and so they die fast. And then you go to the next bush and light up another tank and watch it die quickly, and you go to the next bush. So you're keeping the risk to yourself at a minimum, especially when you never get spotted. The enemy ends up almost giving up, where it's like, please just kill me now and get it over with. It's a very methodical approach to invading the enemy territory, and it works really well. It's kind of like an anti-blitzkrieg. I call it creep-krieg. You don't go fast, you go slow. It's creep-krieg. It's just as effective as overwhelming them, but you're doing it with your spots, and you end up with these awesome missions like this in a 15-0 blowout from Malinovka Standard West, taking his time and getting a whitewash. Happy hunting.